What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Panton Pod, the newest podcast, videocast on the YouTubes and everywhere else you get podcasts. So my name is Mike.
I'm Lawrencia.
And we are the Pantons. What is this podcast all about? Well, it's going to be about life. It's going to be about relationships. It's going to be about marriage and family.
We're married.
We are married. We've been married for 6 years now, going on 7. We have 2 boys, and so we're basically experts on family and dating. So
Just kidding.
We're going to be talking about that.
We're not experts at all. Not at all. We're learning.
Yeah, always learning. But why are we kind of starting this, though, is because we'll get into it. We both work with the International Church and Campus Ministry, and when we meet with people, I find so often we end up talking about relationships, talking about dating, talking about all these things. And I think we both enjoy kind of guiding people through how to date well, how to handle relationships in a healthy way, in a godly way. And so, why not throw some of this down on a video into a podcast and maybe help some more people have some fun while we're at it.
Yes. So much fun.
Yeah, a little hobby for us to do after the boys go to bed.
Yeah.
And so maybe it helps someone along the way as well.
Yeah. And we mostly meet with college students or young adults, and now relationships come up a lot, whether it's friendships or dating or potential spouses. So hopefully this will be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And even in my own life, dating was a lot of turmoil in high school. I wasn't dating in high school, but just like inner turmoil of
inner turmoil.
Okay. Seeking a relationship, not knowing what to do, being passive, being insecure, being kind of afraid, and leading to a lot of hurt and just loneliness. And so I think that we're really excited to kind of talk about some of that stuff as well. I know in university, at least for me, right, I had my mentor walked with me through some of my relationships before I met Lawrencia, pre-relationships, I'll call them. And but maybe not everyone has that. So maybe we can be that for you.
Yeah, me too. When you were saying that, I just remembered I was super insecure because I have such a wonderful partner now. I forgot, in high school and coming into college, I was really insecure about dating and relationships. And praise God, I was really transformed by people pouring into.
We will be talking more about that in future podcasts. The first few
sneak peek
after this kind of intro will be about dating. How do you know if you're ready to date? What are some boundaries in dating and things like that? And we'll talk more about marriage and even kids, family in the future. But I think we'll start off with dating because that's a hot one for a lot of people.
It's a hot topic.
That'll burn you. So a little bit about ourselves. Before we get into the future topics and things, so who you're listening to, who's talking, who's not behind the camera, we're in front of the camera.
Who are you?
But I'm Mike Panton, half of the Panton Pod. But we are the Pantons. We have 2 kids, like I already mentioned. One is 4 years old, Rudd, and the other one's 1, Silas. Rudd just started school, so we're going through learning some new things as well, as you always are with kids. But we are both working with a campus ministry, and we actually live in Indonesia right now. And so it's been an exciting thing. It's been cool to raise kids overseas, to kind of experience a whole new culture, a new way of doing things. And as we are also, serving in the church, so we're always interacting with people, hearing from people, and doing our best to guide and give good advice, give good counsel, and lead people towards truth, towards healthy relationships, towards healthy lives. Yeah?
Yeah. Me, yeah.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Man. That was good. Yeah. I am learning, we'll talk about this later podcast too, of just, so like Michael said, we have 2 young boys. So I am the main, I guess, I stay at home with them. Michael goes out every day for work, and I work too. I am still meeting and mentoring girls, and that is really fun. But God is just teaching me a lot about raising boys.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good thing to talk about in the future, of going from, like full-time to becoming more stay at home with the boys and kind of working and meeting with people on the side.
Special episode.
Yeah, that transition from full-time worker to full-time mom, part-time worker.
Yeah. Or
full-time mom, full-time worker.
Or, slither of a worker. Minimal.
Yeah. But, a lot of interesting things to come for sure. Let us know if there's anything you would like to hear us talk about, and we can throw that in there too.
Throw it in the comments.
The goal is to do these things about weekly or maybe bi-weekly, twice a month, to get us rolling. But I think maybe the last thing we want to talk about in this Meet the Pantons episode, the Welcome to the Pod, is a little bit of our story. You can't have really a podcast on relationships without getting to know how we met each other, how we got married, and because that's going to be, kind of a foundational thing for everything we're going to be talking about. So it'd be good to kind of know our journey. We love to share that. And so maybe, I don't know, do you want to start? Or
Yeah. So Michael and I went to the same university. Michael was a year ahead of me, and he can share more of his background. But yeah, I grew up in a really rural area, and not a lot of choices in the boy department. But
that's how she settled with me. So there wasn't a lot of choice.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But
there were choices at university. So.
Yeah, there was. But not really. Anyways, okay. I had a lot of fear about relationships, and I was really fearful that I would ever find somebody, or that I would be alone. Like, legitimately, the biggest fear in my life at that time was that I would be alone for the rest of my life. And so when I went to college, I was really seeking relationships. I was looking at every guy that came by, but then, praise God, I got involved in a campus ministry. They invited me to a small group, and I started going to that weekly, and God just really radically transformed my life through that community. And so I just got really involved because, man, I was really impacted. I wanted to give back. I was really excited about what God was doing. And so I became really involved in that ministry, and through that, I met Michael.
Nice. It's funny you say that, 'cause I was maybe similar ways. I was lonely. I was a really shy kid as well, and lonely, and I always felt like a girl was the thing I needed. And I was very insecure that I'd never had a girlfriend, that I'd never kissed a girl before. I think even in high school one time I lied about it when someone asked me, because how can you be in 9th grade and not kiss a girl,
Oh my God.
So old,
Oh my God.
But, it's a big deal though at the time, right? Like, insecure about it.
Yeah.
And so, so I feel like I pretty much had a crush on any girl that I found attractive that was like friends with me.
Aww.
Because it's she likes me, she's pretty, so I like her. And so the dating radar was always on, looking for someone to fill.
Yeah, the dating radar.
To fill that hole, right? And in my similar story, I got involved in the same community and gave my life to God. And through that, He took away my shyness, and He kind of filled that void, so that when I met Lawrencia, after a couple pre-relationships before her that were great for helping me to process things, helping me to handle it in like a mature way, instead of before that, like when I first went to university, I liked a girl in my dorm, And but I was super shy and passive, right? So sometimes I would send subtweets. And I don't know, I know Twitter still exists, but I don't know if people still subtweet. But yeah, a couple of times, everyone knew who I was talking about, and it led to some hurt and very immature moments. But it was also good because as a result of
The subtweets.
hurting this girl, and she was crying, I had to kind of be open and honest about a little bit of how I felt for the first time. And then the other things were more healthy. So when I did meet Lawrencia, I was more ready.
Yay.
I wasn't just subtweeting about her and why I was hurt her. Yeah.
Did I hurt you?
No. The
Never.
other girl did. She talked to a different guy. But
Oh, man. I wonder if she'll ever listen to this.
yeah, probably not. But yeah, I think when we met, a lot of stuff went in. We'll definitely talk about that more in future times.
deep.
It's a long story, right? But a lot of growing happened from the beginning of university for both of us until we met each other. For me, that was, a year and a half before we started dating, or 2 years, 4 semesters.
Yeah.
Not really 2 years. 4 semesters. For her, it was 2 before we started dating.
Yeah.
So it's pretty early, I was 20, she was 19.
Yeah.
Still pretty immature, a lot of things to learn.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
so why did we get married? We started dating.
Because you're great.
Why did you marry me?
Well,
Just kidding. We're not gonna. Don't turn this into affirmation.
yeah. No, it will be though. I love affirmation. Side note. Someone recently told me I was very gifted at it, that it was a gift from God. So, which really made me feel very affirmed.
Wow.
It's how, man, if you want to get on my good side, not that I don't. Okay.
If you're on a bad side, you don't want to.
Well, I think what really stood out to me about Michael was he was very straightforward, but he did a great job of making sure there was no question marks. He was just very upfront. Hey, I'd like to get to know you. Very straightforward. And I was in a really good place in the time where when he messaged me, I was able to think okay, this guy, he's loves God. He is well talked about by his friends, by people in our community. And so I was able to say yes confidently even. And also I'm really thankful for mentors and wisdom in my life too, to say saying yes to a date or hangout is not saying yes to a long-term relationship, or there's no shame in it if it doesn't work out. There's no judgment, but just get to know each other. And yeah, I think I'm going a little bit too in depth here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think through our dating time, I just saw that well, of course I liked you. I was attracted to you. But
Even though I had awkwardly long hair at the time, probably jawline. And my hair's really curly and puffy, so.
you didn't wash it good sometimes.
And I rarely washed my hair.
That was the
As
that
probably
was the
most
kicker
guys
for
when they
me.
first get long hair, not good at upkeeping the long hair.
Yeah. Ugh.
But she said she was attracted to me, so
You were cool.
I
I was attracted to you, and yeah. So there was that, but I saw that our life goals were in line. We both were open to the kind of work that we do right now. We felt like a call of God on our life, and that I could see was compatible, but also
to move overseas.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Not everybody wants to live outside of America because America is awesome.
Yeah. Or if they do, yeah, maybe more just want to travel. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really
Backpack.
we actually don't like to travel that much.
Yes, I do not like traveling.
Yeah.
Once I was actually in Singapore for visa stuff, and I met a backpacker there, and he was just telling me about everywhere he was going and all the plans he had, and I was like, yeah, have fun. I'm just going to hang out at a coffee shop until I can get back home.
I like going places to like hang out.
Yeah. Like he
Love
was,
hanging out. But not big on
I
travel.
can't imagine
I
doing
do
that.
have a
new
travel.
place, like every 2 days.
I do have a travel bucket list though, and I really hope you'll go with me
Yeah, maybe one day.
one day. We'll see. Okay, so our life goals were compatible, but also our mannerisms and like spiritual temperature, was the same. Like we both were just steady on growing in God. And I could see that that would be something that would be a lifelong thing, which is proven true.
Yeah.
So those were factors into saying yes when you popped the question.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
And so
Good job.
So you might be wondering how long we dated for about 1.5 years before we got engaged. But 6 months of that was long distance. So with the semester breaks, maybe, or is it just 3 months before we got engaged?
What?
6 months.
What? I'm sorry, I spaced out.
We had every semester break, summer break, we would be apart. And very little communication. So we did the long distance thing. So 6 months of the first 1.5 years was
long distance.
Was apart. And rarely communicating.
Yeah.
The second break was better, but the first one, not very much.
That's okay.
And we just started dating like a week before that. But it shows, commitment. During that time, she was really busy in some place with maybe not great signal and stuff. But to say, we got into a relationship intentionally. So even though they didn't feel close to her during those 3 months, I'm sure she didn't feel close to me. Like, we stuck to it, right? Like, you don't just get in a relationship and then hop out just because you're not feeling it anymore. Like, I think you should have a good reason for getting in and a good reason for getting out.
Yeah.
Like, talk to it about people. Like, you don't be afraid to break up, but like, don't just get out of something that is good for you just because your feelings go down or it gets hard or you're just, confused. But anyways, so we did have some long distance, but then when we got engaged, we were engaged for 1.5 years, but for 9 months of that, I was in Indonesia and she was still in America finishing up her final semester and planning a wedding, which I did nothing for. And so I did do some things, but all of it got replaced with better things when we got
our whole wedding was a miracle.
A gift fell into our laps. And so all of my work was kind of washed away.
People just really loved on us.
But for the best. And but she did a great job, and her friends and people helping out.
Yeah.
And so, we've been married for almost 7 years now. I have 2 boys, been living in Indonesia for pretty much our entire marriage. We've gone to America, but it's been very transient when we're there.
Our life is here.
And so, we've celebrated all but, I think, 1 anniversary now in America. But our boys' birthdays have all been here, except for the when they're actually born. They were born in America.
Yeah.
But that's kind of our story in a really small nutshell that, I'm sure will come out more and more over time.
We'll see.
As we discuss topics, as we kind of go back. But I think a lot of it is, you've seen that when we went to university, right, like we're both kind of insecure, but really wanting a relationship. And there was definitely a lot of maturation going on, which is why I could be so direct and kind of be so straightforward, because at the end of the day, and maybe this is a good lesson to kind of towards the end of this welcome intro podcast, is that I think when it comes to relationships, there's like nothing to lose but everything to gain. But oftentimes our insecurities tell us we're gonna like lose everything if we just be direct, or we're gonna get rejected and it's gonna just destroy us, or gonna somehow humiliate us, or like be some terrible thing. But I think, if you're really ready for a relationship, more on that next week, like rejection is not really a bad thing.
Yeah.
It just means you avoided getting into a relationship you shouldn't have been in. And so you can just keep moving on with your friends, with your life, until find another one.
That's good.
Another potential.
Yeah.
That's what would always call people, not always, but like my first semester of university with my parents to be a potential. They would ask me, like, are there any girls? There's a potential. Lawrencia was a potential.
My parents never asked me if I had a potential, or they never asked me if I was dating.
Yeah, like, so just hoping you'll never date.
I guess. I don't know.
Keep their girl.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. We have boys, so not a concern in the same way as like.
What if we have a girl?
Well, like 2 boys right now. Yeah, so that's our story. That's how we kind of met briefly. Our process of dating, why we're married, what we're doing. Who are the Pantons? As we talk about life things, right? Relationships, dating, that you at least know a little bit about who we are first. And hopefully you get to know us. Maybe we can get to know you in the comment section. But yeah, the next couple weeks, I kind of mentioned, we're going to be looking at for the next podcast, we're going to be looking at, am I ready to date? Some of the questions you should be asking yourself. Like, are you mature enough? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Like, you're an adult, so obviously you can date if you want, or you might not be an adult. You could be a high school, middle school. In that case,
listen to your
parents. Honor your parents, guys. Okay? But then after that, we're going to be looking at, well, maybe you are dating, or you're thinking about dating. And the question that people often ask, right, is how far is too far? You know, when we're talking about boundaries in a relationship. But not just physical, emotional, a time, things like that as well. Yeah. And so I think it'll be a fun start to dive into the world of relationships together. Anything you would like to say to close us out? Final words.
I have no final words. You said it all. Yeah. Nice.
Well, thanks for joining us for this intro podcast, Meet the Pantons. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, like, comment, find us, share us. We're looking forward to making many more of these to come. Until next time.
We did it! I didn't break down.